Hello, got another rapid game. Knight f3, knight c6. I'm playing d4 because usually in a double d pawn opening, black doesn't really want the knight on c6, as far as I know. Okay, what do I normally do here? I think I'm in the habit of going g3, bishop g2, castling kingside, and then being really aggressive with c4. And I've had games in which black ends up castling queenside and gets killed. So we're going to try that. Okay, he's being pretty conservative with his light squared bishop. I'm going to castle. But that may save him from an attack later. We'll see. c4. And, okay. Yeah, so how do I take this pawn back? Hopefully I'll do a better job than I did in the last game. I could play queen a4. I could play knight a3 or knight bd2. I think I'd like to put the queen, I'd like to have the queen take back on c4. Maybe queen c2 is also an option. Yeah, it probably is, because I bet b5 can't be played. I think if b5, knight e5 is going to be really good because of all the pressure on the long diagonal. So I expect castle kingside from black. I'll take the pawn on c4, then I'll try to play knight c3 and e4. Keep messing this camera up somehow. Okay, queen c4. And if I need extra support for the move e4, I can move this knight out of the way in a way that adds 2 pieces to that square's defense. He's got to do something with his light squared bishop. It's not very comfortable sitting behind the e6 pawn. Well, it's comfortable, but it doesn't help him very much. Knight c3 develops a piece and prepares e4, which of course comes with the immediate threat of e5, winning a piece. Okay, so he's announcing his intention to respond to e4 with e5. So e4, e5, d5, knight goes somewhere, knight b5. Maybe the knight goes to d4. I don't think so though, because I don't think that holds on to his material. After e5, d5, knight d4, knight takes d4, e takes d4, queen takes d4. He has nowhere near enough attackers on the e4 square to capture that pawn. But I think he's pretty well committed himself to playing e5 here. So it's going to go e5, d5. Okay. His pieces are looking all jammed up. Maybe knight b5 is an idea here, just trying to take a bishop, vacating the c file so I can play rook c1 later and put a bunch of pressure on his c pawn. Can also play e5. He'll probably play bishop f8. I'm going to play knight b5 because it seems to put a bunch of pressure on his position. I guess he wants to put his knight on b6 later. And I suppose I will just retreat my queen to c2, stick my bishop on e3, and bring the rooks to the center. And I think white's in really good shape there. He does go knight b6. Okay, we're going to go queen c2. I guess knight b4 is a move. I didn't really look at that, but I suppose I can just put my queen on b3. He's not doing anything with the knight from there, I don't think. Okay, he's going to let me take this bishop on d6 if I want it. It's probably the right thing for him to do, because afterwards he gets play on the c-file against my queen. So maybe take on d6 and go bishop f4. I'm going to do that. Bishop f4 hitting the d6 pawn. He may play e5 in response, maybe just bishop e3, e takes d4, knight takes d4. And I can claim some kind of an advantage because of the open center with the two bishops. Also, whenever you see a knight on the third B or G file square, it can be a very good idea to advance the nearby rook pawn to displace it. Okay, I need a good square for the queen. That is a little bit of a problem. Maybe not, though. Maybe I can just take on d6, and after knight takes d4, play queen d3. And then after knight takes f3, bishop takes f3. Maybe there's bishop b5. Something weird like that. So maybe I'll go queen d3 here, and if knight b4, I'll go queen d2. I have a really good position here, but I've got to watch out for these two knights, which have ways to harass my queen. e5, okay. I think it's natural to respond with bishop to e3. You know, I could, though, also just take on e5. Because he's not exactly comfortable on the d file. So d takes e5, knight e5, knight e5, d e5, bishop e3. It's not that comfortable for him. I don't know. I think I'd rather kind of maintain things as they are, and, well, not really. I'd like to open the center, and I think the best way for that to happen is if he plays e takes d4. So he goes knight b4. Ah, okay, now he's going knight c2. All right. Yeah, so I'm going to be, it looks like I'm going to be giving up my bishop on e3. I guess this is not what I should have been looking for. After rook c1, he may have knight c4. No, I mean, I just have something like queen e2 and I'm okay. I definitely didn't play this very well, though. Okay, the other option is queen c2, knight e3, queen c8, bishop c8, fe3. I don't think I want to do that, though. So let's play queen e2, and we'll just look to get these knights out of my territory. Probably one of them will be traded off for the bishop on e3, and the other one I'll have to eject with a pawn or something. Okay. How does he have bishop b5? He might have had bishop b5, but he didn't play it. Okay, what about using the f5 square and trying to launch some kind of attack on his king? I mean, I do have a half-open f-file after all. So let's try that. Knight h4, knight f5. And if he takes there, it opens up my light square bishop. I guess at some point he may have e6, bishop b5 with a skewer, but by then my pieces should be out of danger. Okay, let's go rook takes c1. So he ended up having to kind of give me the c-file to do this. Can I go knight f5 now? Okay, if I take on d5, he's gonna end up taking back there with a knight. No, he isn't. He's going to take on d4, and then I'll play e4. Actually, that looks really good. So let's do that. He takes d5 and e4. Because then his pawn on d4 will be a target. Oh, knight takes d5. Alright, we're back to the tactical horror show that is my typical short time control game. What can I do to get out of the mess I've gotten myself into? Queen c4, knight e3, I can take on d4. There's also queen d3. Okay, play queen d3. Clearly he's not going to let me take the knight on d5. So he's probably going to sink it into e3. Although if he does that, can I just move my bishop out of the way? Bishop f3. Queen g5. Okay, targeting that rook. Maybe rook c5. Pinning the knight would be a fantastic move. No, because of queen e3 check. When I'd have to trade, and then, yeah, I don't see what. So let's go rook e1. Defending the e-pawn, covering the e3 square. But now I'm not threatening e takes d5 anymore. Okay, but I do have knight back to f3 and knight takes d4, which gets that knight back into the game. Knight to b4. Queen takes d4, knight c2, queen takes d7, rook d8, I guess is what he's looking for. I have to move, okay. So let's go queen c4. Still looking at playing knight f3 and maybe knight takes here. Okay, let's play knight f3. I've managed to get another bad position with white, I think. I have very little time left. So what if he goes queen f6? I play e5 and he takes it. And I take, and he plays rook takes e5. I play rook f1. Maybe just after queen f6 I go rook f1. Queen d8. What? Okay, so knight takes c4. Oh, he wants to pin my knight. I guess he wants to create a pin. What about e5 here? Or king h1 maybe? King h1, queen b6, rook f1, queen takes b2, knight takes d4, something like that. We got to get this king out of danger though. Bishop e6, okay. Let's put the queen on the 5th rank, queen to b5. Looking to take a pawn, of course. I wish fighting from a bad position were less common for me, but you can only get there with practice, I guess. Okay, rook d1. And I'm looking to take this d-pawn with tempo. I think sometimes in these games I get in the habit of just kind of reacting to what my opponent is doing, not really coming up with my own ideas. Gotta break out of that. This seems okay though, because I don't think he's holding on to his d-pawn. I think he should have left it on d4. Okay, he wants me, what, to take on b7? Then I'm threatening c6 and a6. And then from a6, the queen will put pressure on d3 again. Okay, we're going to go queen takes a6. We've caught up on the clock, which is great. I don't think he's going to, I mean, of course he's not going to take on d3. Silly pre-move. But I should get ready to have a problem on the back rank, which is definitely a possibility. So what are we going to do here? Maybe queen to a3 and just try to get the queen back somewhere reasonable like c3. Play b4. Yeah, I realize I don't have any time. Okay. Come on, what am I doing? I'm going to go queen b3, try to trade queens. He's not going to allow that. If he puts his queen on the c file, I will go queen c3 or queen c2. Okay, that's okay. I want to trade. That is fine by me. I'm up 2 pawns here. And should be winning. Okay, we're going to go, what? King to the center of the board. And as usual, not thinking very much, which is always a good idea. Rook takes a2, I guess, is the move there, but he didn't play it. Oh, I have this e5 maybe. No, that is fine. I want to trade. Okay, we're going to go e5. And we'll take on f6. And take on g7. And, oh shoot, I had rook takes b3. No. Alright, rook to e7 check. Rook to c7. Okay, we'll go rook c6, try to take another pawn. And we'll put the bishop on h3. Ah, I lost on time. Alright, so we're down 27 points to somewhere around 2050. You have to climb back up again. Congrats to my opponent, and I hope you enjoyed watching.